No Flaws by RedRix Rimuru, Pov. The first thing I did at the start of my journey was to revive Mikami Satoru, aka my other self back on Earth. On Earth, Japan, skyscrapers stood in a line. The surrounding was filled with hustle and bustle, shrieks and angry roars. A patrol car's siren could be heard afar. A scenery so nostalgic it made me feel a bit dizzy. Senpai, senpai. Please hold it together, senpai. A youngster who was crying with a nice guy in his arms and a young woman looking at them in grief. It was Tamura and Sawatari-san. These guys, they really haven't changed, huh? Well, I guess that is pretty obvious. I walked up to Tamura and pat his shoulder. Move aside, Tamura. Who are you? How do you know my name? Now, don't sweat the details. He turned around to complain but lost his words seeing my beautiful face. That's about it. You will make Sawatari-san mad, you know, is what I thought of saying but decided not to instead. I pushed Tamura aside and held the jewel I brought out over the nice guy's dead body. The dead body and jewel seems to have fused properly, so all that's left is to send it to my multiple parallel existence. Ah, I almost forgot. Human bodies feel pain, so I should properly heal it. Thinking that, I brought out a healing potion and poured it onto the dead body. Seeing the wounds heal in the blink of an eye, I was satisfied knowing that they work in this world as well. If I hadn't healed it properly, I would have had to restore it after taking it in, and that's a pain. With this, the preparations are complete. I concentrated my consciousness and used multiple parallel existence on the jewel. It is a success, which is a huge relief. What exactly did you? Oh, Tamura. From now on, properly respect your senpai and don't think of showing off, alright? Also, I will do something about the PC myself, so cancel that request. Giving a smile to Tamura's confused and shocked expression, I left the place. Now then, let's go back to the sealed cave. I teleport just a few days before I met Veldora. In short, nearly 3 months into the future, and my reincarnated self completely merged with my current self. You never know when even the simplest of things can be useful. That's the exact reason I am currently in my slime form and eating the hypocute herbs and the ores lying in my sight. Honestly speaking, just lying around in the same place just gets boring over a certain time period, so doing this again kinda feels refreshing. But I should probably stop or slow down for now, because the area near Veldora is completely devoid of any kinds of plants or ores because I devoured them all. Like everything. Veldora, POV. I, the mighty storm dragon, am in a dilemma right now. I have been sealed in this cave for the past 300 years after I accidentally destroyed a human city and was sealed by a hero who was an absolute beauty. Because of that seal being placed upon me, I have been sitting here completely bored. No man or monster was able to reach me, but now I can sense someone close by. And that person is emanating a similar presence to that of my older brother and the creator of this world, Veldanava, but at the same time it's different. I am sure that this person has the true dragon essence but is not a complete true dragon. Does that make him my half-sibling? Just as I was pondering that, a creature came into my sight which completely surprised me. Moreover, this creature gave of a similar presence as my elder brother, though the aura is equal to what humans would call a rank monster. A slime? I unknowingly spoke out loud. Rimuru, POV. The world was only a few minutes away from a cataclysmic shock. That was the only way to describe the disappearance of the storm dragon Veldora. After all, it wasn't every day that a special S-ranked monster, a natural calamity, simply vanished without a trace. But that shock is still a few minutes away. While having this inner monologue, I bounced towards Veldora and eventually I slammed into his prison. Well, that was not what I was aiming for. A slime? He said. Yes, I know that I look like a completely round and harmless blue blob about 100 centimeters in diameter. Well, that size is abnormally big for a slime, but let's not talk about that stuff. Yo. Little brother. Living in Guy's castle changed my perspective on a lot of things over the past 2,000 years. One of them included how I treat others, especially my siblings, or more like half-siblings, I guess. Anyways, I treated Velzard, who was the only sibling present in that castle and one of the few people I interacted regularly with, and had a lot of siblings squabbles with her on the smallest of things, like a proper stereotypical elder brother, at least in my opinion. Huh? Came Veldora's reply. Yeah, I know that it sounds completely absurd. After all, I look like a blue blob, which is nothing like an intimidating and majestic looking dragon. You can sense that I am partly a true dragon, right? Huh. Oh yes, I indeed can sense that you have a soul compatible with the dragon essence, and you do have the true dragon essence, so how come I have not known about someone like you? And, little brother? Only my elder brother Star King Dragon. The creator of this world has the right to call me that along with my sisters. He definitely did not like his sisters. Well, I can fully understand the sentiment. They're scary, to be honest, but he's surprisingly respectful towards Veldanava even though he might not have known him very much. Calm down, first let me explain the full story. And with that began my 2-hour-long story. Frankly speaking, it was so outrageous to the point that one can't help but believe it. So if you form a soul corridor with me, I can have my memories of those times back, and I will also get to read those sacred texts you speak of. Along with that, I will be set free? He spoke with a pinch of excitement seeping into his voice. Basically speaking, that is correct, I replied. So what are we waiting for? From today onwards I shall be known as the Storm Dragon Veldora Tempest, brother of Rimuru Tempest. Seal, it's all you from here on out. Less than you can absolutely count on me, master greater than. It was at this moment that I predated on the seal in which Veldora was stored in, and Seal began her work as if she was waiting for this for years. Less than releasing the individual named Veldora Tempest from unlimited imprisonment greater than. Less than establishment of soul corridor with the individual successful greater than. Less than restoring the memories of the individual named Veldora Tempest greater than. Less than evolution of the unique skill, Investigator, into the ultimate skill, Faust King of Investigation, complete greater than. Less than evolution of the ultimate skill, Faust King of Investigation, into the ultimate skill, Chaos Lord Nyarlathotep, complete greater than. Less than initiating true dragon release on the individual named Veldora Tempest greater than. Just like that. Now standing in front of me was a tall, well-built, supple, and quite muscular man. His skin was a dark shade of brown, his hair blonde, and his looks rugged and masculine. He was a fine figure of a man. One with just a few suggestions of my own facial features still in place. It was kind of like if you took my external human form and made it deliberately manlier. Much manlier. Sad face. I always believed you could do it, Rimuru. Yay, it only took about 2,000 years to get to this point. Now don't fret about it. To us it doesn't even matter how long we have lived. Yes, I understand that. So anyways, would you like to remain here outside or stay in my imaginary space? If you choose to remain here, then I will have to create something that can completely hide your presence for the upcoming 2 years, or you could just sit there in my imaginary space. After all, you have to convince Ifrit to become your errand boy. I would like to stay outside this time, but the matter with Ifrit is also serious. He started mumbling to himself, but after a few seconds, as if a light bulb went on in his head, he replied. Oh, couldn't I just leave my other self in there with Ifrit and still remain outside at the same time? Yeah, you can, but if you try to do anything or even speak of your name, then I will make sure that you have a very long and happy trip to North. I said in a menacing tone. To which Veldora, who was almost about to cry, replies. Oh, of course I wouldn't do such a thing ever. That was quite a quick response. Is he seriously scared of me that much now? Well then, let's make something that will completely suppress your aura. Right as we finished our little back and forth, I started to work on a necklace similar to what Veldora is wearing right now, but with the properties similar to my anti-magic mask. He is currently completely suppressing his aura by his own, but he will become a time bomb if he keeps up with that. I still remember that day when he released his stored-up aura on the 100th floor of the labyrinth. I mean, it had the force to surpass any and every tactical nuke back on Earth. It took me almost 3 hours to handcraft the anti-magic necklace by using the same materials and the properties as my anti-magic mask, but the moment I finished making his necklace I remembered something and spoke. Veldora, there are few weeks still left before I go out of this cave. Ooh. So what should we do till then? I assume you don't want to change the timeline too much. Yay, I would like a few changes, so I guess we will just sit around here for the month, I guess. Maybe read some more manga or watch some movies or play some games, since I incarnated myself again back in my previous world and got to experience a lot of new things. Less than this is a waste of my abilities. Greater than, no it's not at all. I replied to Seal. That sounds fun. Okay, then it's decided that we will stay here. Oh, but can we at least kinda decorate this place a bit? It's a bit too boring like this. 20 days after the disappearance of the storm dragon Veldora, the Western Holy Church issued a report that As far as its investigations could tell, Veldora the Storm Dragon both no longer existed and showed no sign of existing anytime soon. Word spread first in the area around the Forest of Jura, a broad plain dotted with a large number of minor countries. Once Veldora's fate had been broadly reported, each one of them sprang to their feet, the proverbial hornet's nest stimulated to action. Every king and every minister of every nation held day after day of emergency meetings, gathering information and debating what to do next. It was a trying time for the Baron of Vriard, minister of the small kingdom of Bloomond, but not half as trying as it was for the man Vriard had called into his private chamber that day. This was Fuse, a man just as renowned for his sharp, unrelenting eyes as he was for his small stature. He was the guild master for this kingdom, a position affording him a hefty amount of authority even in such a tiny nation. "I believe you know why I summoned you here," the Baron began the moment Fuse walked through the archway. "You have heard about the Storm Dragon by now, have you not?" "Of course, my Baron, humph," Vriard spat out in response. "I suppose I should expect nothing less of you, my good guild master. Now, may I ask about how the guild intends to respond?" "We have no particular plans at this time, sir." "I'm sorry, did I hear you correctly? You have no intention to take action?" "Yes, sir. I do not feel any action is necessary." "Rather a strange thing to say, is it not? Not necessary? The disappearance of Veldora the Storm Dragon may portend further monster activity in the space of days, even hours. And you are taking no measure at all against it?" "It would strike me as rather strange to do so, sir, for taking such measures is the job of the state. I am responsible for the Free Guild, not for providing volunteer work when bidden. Is it not the responsibility of the state to protect the assets of its people? In the same way, it is the guild's responsibility to protect the lives of its members. We both have a lot on our plates, I suppose." Fuse wasn't sure whether he had imagined the blue vein that had just popped up on Vriard's forehead or not. "Enough pretense, Guild Master. How many mercenaries can you provide us? How many adventurers with combat experience? What is the size of the defense force you can provide in service? I need numbers." "I do hope we are on the same page when I say this, sir, but I will remind you, we are not an army of volunteers. If we are talking about a mobilization based on the terms of our agreement, I can provide you the equivalent of 1/10 of our members. If you wish access to anything beyond that, well, that would all depend on our compensation." "Very well. Enough of this. Are you trying to wring the truth out of me, Fuse?" Fuse's eyebrows raised a little at the mention of his name. Vriard rarely, if ever, called him by it. He turned his eyes toward the Baron for the first time. "The area near Veldora's prison was meant to be absolutely impenetrable," he said. "Now that route may potentially be open to direct navigation, and that means we must consider the possibility of the Eastern Empire taking action." "Ah, certainly so," the Baron replied. "Whether they were letting Veldora be or were simply afraid of the seal being broken, we have been detecting sudden new movements in the Empire after a long period of silence. Do you understand what that means? If they can navigate that forest, this kingdom will be swallowed up instantly. And we can forget about the Western Holy Church providing us any meaningful support. The countries around the Forest of Jura have no meaningful alliance with each other. We will all become Empire vassals in the blink of an eye. No support from the Church. I fear not. No, they never were terribly interested in wars between mere mortals in the first place. Annihilating the monsters is what their doctrine calls for." "Quite so. If we could have them deploy even one of their paladins, the Empire wouldn't be so quick to move. Not needing to prepare for monster attacks would buy us some time, at least." "I doubt anything could stir the Church to action," Fuse said. "The destruction of a nation or two does nothing to affect their own finances. They cannot help everyone, nor even their own flock. I can conduct my own personal inquiries into the matter. I'd advise you not to expect much, but I can at least gauge the situation in the Forest of Jura and around the Empire," Fuse said. "I would appreciate that. Yes. There was no guarantee the Empire would act against them. If it was going to, it would undoubtedly be with a large force. It was never a nation to waste its time with small skirmishes. No, it would casually send over a force of 1 million or so and trample over every nation in the area, one by one. Assembling such an army would take time, at least 3 years or so, which was not a generous amount, but it created some wiggle room to work with. I had best begin gathering information, then," Fuse said to close the conversation. There is little time. I am off, thank you. Little did they know that the storm dragon they were talking about was lying in that same place playing video games with his brother, who would be at the center of the most chaotic times to come ahead. AN Rimuru's appearance right now. AN Veldora's stats right now. Name: Veldora Tempest. EP: 88,126,579. Race: Supreme Divine Spirit, True Dragon. Protection: Storm Crest. Title: Storm Dragon. Magic: True Dragon Magic. Unique Skill: Universal Perception, True Dragon Hockey, Universal Shapeshift. Ultimate Skill: Chaos King Nyarlathotep. Less than Master, Ellen, Cobble and Guido have arrived in the forest and will be arriving in this cave in 2 days' time. Greater than. Oh, thank you very much, Seal. Veldora, we should start moving in a few hours. Ellen, Cobble and Guido will be arriving in this cave in 2 days. Oh, you mean those 3 who always lose their stuff and are prone to danger? Yay. That's actually a pretty good description for them. Anyways, let's start moving now. You say that, but you still don't close this game. Yay, if I close it you will find an excuse about how you were finally winning one match, but I closed the game. NNNNNNDI won again. 201-0. As I said that, Veldora just fell down on his knees and arms as if giving up on life, while I stood in front of him with a toothy grin. Anyways, that's that. Now we should get moving. 2 days later, near the entrance of the cave, me and Veldora were hiding behind a giant piece of rock waiting for the trio to arrive. Phew. Finally got this thing open. The whole lock-in mechanism must have rusted out, Guido said. Yeah, I'll bet. Nobody's even tried going in for 300 years or whatever, right? Cobble said. There is no record of anyone attempting an entry. Are you sure we're safe? We are not leaving ourselves open to sudden attack, Ellen commented. Gah ha ha ha. Laughed Cobble. Come on. Maybe this guy was invincible a few centuries back, but it's just a big overgrown lizard, you know? It'll be fine. Some huge reptile ain't gonna faze me. All right. Just keep your guard up, if you could, and remember, we can always use my escape skill if things turn sour. Can we save the friendly chit-chat for later? Ellen interjected. I need some quiet. It's just about time for me to activate concealing arts. How scandalous. I'll have to make friends with him later, Veldora said via thought communication. That was my line, I said to him while hitting him with my slime elbow. Once the trio went out of sight down the path, we sprang back into action. As we were going out the cave, we encountered many monsters who were all blown into bits and pieces by Veldora or me and then predated by me. Although we didn't use any magic or skills, our raw physical strength was far higher than anything in this forest, though I didn't get any new skills after predating them since I already had all of them. Most importantly, I was not lost this time, all thanks to Seal. And now we are finally outside in the sunlight. Man, this feels hella refreshing. While we were sitting under a tree, a pack of wolves tried stalking me. I tried to threaten them. I said, and that was all it took. Yipe. With pathetic yelps, they scampered away. We're talking multiple enormous canines, each easily 2 meters or so in length, and the sight of an ordinary slime and a blonde man freaked them out. Pathetic. Although one of them also was the future Ranga. As I thought over that, my universal spatial detect skill spotted a group of monsters approaching. They were small in size, their equipment plain and crude. Their faces were dirty and devoid of intelligence, but with their swords, their shields, their stone axes, and their bows, they weren't entirely bestial. It took a mere instant for my gray matter to figure out who they were. Goblins. Those infamous marauders of many a would-be adventuring party. Talk about sticking to the script. Deja vu. Just pure deja vu. It should come any moment now. Any moment. Gra. Strong one. Have you business here? There it is, the infamous line that started it all. What's up? Good to meet you, I guess. My name is Rimuru. I'm a slime. And I am the mighty Street. I instantly hit him with a fan made out of my slime body. I told you to not to say that, I shouted at him. Gar. Strong one. We see mighty power of you. Please, quiet the voice of you. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. We need no apology from such great form of you. Veldora, you go to my imaginary space right now. No buts and no excuses. I gave you one chance but you lost it. But Rim, no means no. Seriously, is he that scared of me? Veldora, who was on the verge of crying again, quietly went back to my imaginary space, probably thinking that it is not such a bad thing at all. Seal limit the amount of stuff that he can access from my memories and also limit the amount of stuff that he can do there. Less than understood, master. Greater than. After that, Veldora was brought to my imaginary space with my permission, but after a few minutes I could hear him begging me. Seal, lift up some of those restrictions. Less than, master, you are too kind. Sometimes that could have messed up a lot of things. Greater than. Yay, but that's just the way I am. Later I could hear him thanking me, although I didn't mind him this time. As Veldora teleported away, the goblins started kowtowing in form of me. They must have thought that I had killed him or something, or made him disappear somehow. So what did you need from me? I don't have any business around here, I asked the future rigger. We were just patrolling the area since we sensed a strong monster nearby. A strong monster nearby? Are you talking about me? Gar. Strong one. Yes, we are talking about you. The goblins and I spoke for a while longer, and before long, I wound up receiving an invitation to their village. On the way I heard their local gossip about Veldora. I wonder how they will react if they knew that the person with me was Veldora himself and I am his elder brother now. In the village they guided me to the most sturdy-looking building. After some waiting, here he comes, the future Prime Minister of Tempest. I am sorry to keep you waiting, honored guest. Oh, no need for that, don't worry about me. I haven't been waiting for that long. Anyways, what's up? I assume you invited me here for a reason. Hearing this, the future rigger and riggard kowtowed, their foreheads touching the ground. My son has told of me the incredible powers you harbor within yourself. Please, Great One, can you hear our humble request? Here it is, the one thing that led to the development of the most advanced country in the world. That single line spoke by the yet-to-be-named rigger. Depends on what it is. Yes, sir. He spoke. 1 month ago our god who protected this land vanished. Ever since, the nearby monsters have come into our region in search of new territory. He continued. Most powerful of them all, the dire wolves. Just one of them strong enough to defeat 10 of us alone. How many are there? I asked, even after knowing the numbers to put up the act. Their pack is 100 strong, and as for our tribe, we have only 60 capable of fighting them. Now those are what I would call dire odds, and you are certain that there are only 100 dire wolves? I spoke, emphasizing on the word, only. Yes, no doubt about it. Rigger fought to death to bring us that information. Rigger was my elder brother, the greatest warrior that lived in our village, who was also the only named one. It's all thanks to him that we are even alive in the first place. The future rigger spoke. Rigger's not around anymore. He was my son, the pride of my life. Riggard spoke. Even if we weaklings are destined to perish, we must still find a way to survive and honor his strength. He said to me while tears threatened to fall from his eyes. I have one question for you, elder. What can you offer me? What can you offer me for saving your village? Your mightiness, we would pledge our full loyalty to you. All right. Your request is granted. I nodded sagely. And that's how I became the guardian of a goblin village, and the first steps towards building the greatest nation was taken. It is currently night time, and I am currently standing in front of the makeshift fence they built after tearing apart their houses. A few hours of practice time was nearly not enough for a fight, but they had me to defend them completely. Oh woo! The alpha dire wolf gave the signal. All right. Stop where you are. Okay. If you turn back now, I promise I won't do anything to you. Move away from here at once, or submit to me, I declared confidently. Right as I said that, the alpha gave the order. As if they were his own right hand, about a dozen dire wolves immediately set off to attack the fence. The picture of coordination, the exact reason the pack essentially functioned as a single monster. But the wolves were cut and killed by the steel threads placed by me. Right there, for the first time, the alpha committed a fatal mistake, one that would ultimately decide his fate. You wretched little worm of a monster, I shall crush you to pieces. He came shouting at me, but I just captured him and killed him with a wind blade and predated on him. Quite an anticlimactic victory this time. As soon as I finished predation on the alpha, I turned into a wolf too, which surprisingly looked like how Ranga looked after he was awakened. Then I bellowed. Listen, dire wolves. Your leader is dead. Once, and only once, I will let this go unpunished. You have two final choice: submit or leave. If you continue to fight, you will be killed without hesitation. The numbers of survivors were a few more as compared to last time, since the leader rushed straight at me, perhaps angered by me telling him to submit. It was oddly quiet. Compared to the pitched battle of a moment ago, I could feel the gazes of the dire wolves upon me. They were probably having their thought communication conference right now. As I was thinking that, "We pledge our allegiance to you," they said in unison, kowtowing to me, although it looked more as if they were having a lie down for a nap. I guess that concludes that. The next morning. "Okay," I began, "from now on, I'm gonna have you all form pairs and live with each other, all right? Like, groups of 2, okay? Get to it?" The moment I finished speaking, the goblins and the dire wolves began exchanging glances with whoever was in front of them. Slowly and meekly, they followed my order. "Yesterday's enemy is today's friend, and all that." "Elder," I said as I watched the pairing process unfold to my side, "it's too inconvenient for me to refer to you and your people. I'd like to give names to you all. Would that be all right?" As soon as they heard the word, names, all of their eyes were locked onto me, even the non-fighting goblins. Are you sure?" the elder timidly asked. "If you are worrying about me running out of magicules, then don't worry about that. I have a whole load of that stuff, much more than anyone can even sense." It was as if I'd simultaneously blown the minds of everyone on the premises. Each one erupted into enthusiastic cheering. "Man, why'd I have to do the adult's job every time?" "Seal?" "Less than yes, master. I will regulate the naming process, but there is one thing that I would like to report. Greater than." What is it?" "Less than yes. Since the potency of master's magicules have increased greatly, they will have a higher chance of straight up evolving into stronger species such as ogres, Kijins, or even a fair Oni, along with having a naturally higher capacity for magicules since they can't handle the higher potency of the magicules greater than." I couldn't help but almost shout out loud, but I somehow kept quiet. "So does that mean that if they can't handle the higher potency, so they will have a higher magicules count instead? And it will be easier for them to evolve?" "Less than that inference is correct. Greater than." I really wanted to just sit there and complain to someone, but I have to name the goblins and the dire wolves. "When did you even analyze this stuff?" "Less than. It was analyzed when you named the individual, Razul." "Greater than." Yes, Razul is a subordinate of Rimuru in this timeline. He named him and healed and told him to protect the Western nations as to not change the timeline too much. Sigh. "Just remind me what I named them last time." And I began my naming spree. "I guess they will fully evolve after a good night's sleep." While Ranga stuck to me like he's my biggest fan in the world now. The next morning, after they successfully evolved into hobgoblins, for males, and the females, goblinas, I also named all the dire wolves this time, but only Ranga had horn. Why is that? Less than answer. It can be presumed that Ranga, being the leader and the one from whom the name of the tribe came from, evolved in this way to show he's the pack leader. Greater than. Ranga had also gained full control over his pack, it seemed, allowing them all to evolve from dire wolf to tempest wolves. Today Rigger and the others wanted to just celebrate their evolution, which went on till midnight. The next day, I gathered the entire population around me. We had a heap of issues to tackle, but I had something even more important to tell them. We needed to hammer out the rules of this village, because I said so, was only gonna go so far around here. "Everyone here? All right. I have some rules to give to you, 3, to be exact. The bare minimum I want all of you to follow. And so I laid out my standards. 1. Do not fight among your friends. 2. Do not look down upon other species. 3. Do not attack human beings unless they are showing blatant hostility." "Could I ask a question?" Rigger shouted. "Why are we not allowed to attack humans?" Rigard gave his son the dirtiest look I've ever seen from a hobgoblin. "Simple. Because I like humans, that is all." "Ah, very good, I understand. Human beings live in very large groups," I continued, giving my full explanation. "If you lay hands on them, they may retaliate in force, and if they throw everything they have at you, I doubt you would be able to defend yourselves. That's why I prohibit interfering with them. It'd help you all if you were friendly with them. Besides, if you guys were to needlessly die, I won't ever forgive you, okay?" Ranga nodded deeply at this. It seemed to make sense to him. The hobgobs, meanwhile, appeared even more convinced than before. "Is there anything else? What do you mean by, do not look down upon other species?" "Well, All you guys are freshly evolved, right? I'm just saying, don't let that get to your head and start lording it over all the weaker species. Just because you're all a little sturdier doesn't mean you're some high and mighty race now. Sooner or later, your rivals will get just as strong, or even stronger, and they'll want to get back at you. That'd suck, wouldn't it? That's pretty much it. Stick to those rules as much as you can, all right? With local laws out of the way, it was time to start divvying up roles. The village watch, the food prep team, the group collecting materials for the village to make things with, the ones building homes and tools and such. Rigurd, I hereby appoint you, Goblin Lord. It will be your job to keep this village well run and well governed. Why yes, Sir Rimuru. I promise you that I, Rigurd, will devote myself body and soul to this vital post. The next day I was watching them do the construction work, but what I saw just pained me to great extent. After a short conversation with Rigger, I will now set for the Dwarven Kingdom, and according to me everything should be proceeding with right timing. Man, when you are consciously thinking about timing, then the amount of stress it gives you is unimaginable. Anyways, currently I am locked up in a prison cell for doing what I did. Man, it was just self-defense, and I can sense Seal getting angry, very angry about me being locked up in a prison. Better calm her down while I tell them my part of the story. Phew. Guess they finally saw the light. Good thing my, blame everyone else, skill from my human years was still going strong. It was an advanced ability, earned only after years of life experience. The key was to never give your foe a single moment to doubt you. It was hard. All right. That's it for the report. Thank you for your cooperation, but we're going to need to. Slam. S sir. An Armorsaurus just showed up in the mines. It's already injured several miners at their posts. What? Well, did you defeat it? We're good there. A suppression force is on its way. But some of the miners are fairly roughed up. I don't know if there's a war underway or something, but the city shops are out of medicine, and the castle won't let us access their stockpile. What about our healers? That's the thing, sir. The injured were deep inside, mining magic ore. The healers at the guardhouse are all out handling other calls, so all we have left is a single novice. Ah, damn it all. Sir, what? I'm busy. I'm done with you for now, but I can't let you go yet. Stay in this room until things calm down a little. No, not that, I've got this. I took a recovery potion out. Or spat it out, is the way he probably saw it. What's that? A recovery potion. Drink it, rub it in, it's high quality. What's a slime like you doing with that? That kind of thing doesn't matter right now, does it? Go ahead, try it. TCH. Stay here, all right? Let's go. Thank you, sir. The bearded captain thundered as he stormed into the room, head bowed. The miners filed in behind him. You're the one with the potions? Thanks a ton. My arm was pretty torn up. I didn't think I'd ever work again, even if I survived. Thank you. The next day. All right, he said, you're free to go. Sorry I kept you in here for so long. I was beholden to keep you overnight, at least. Apologies. Oh, no, it saved me one night's hotel cost, at least. Glad you see it that way. Here, let me make it up to you. I can introduce you to a talented blacksmith I know. That would be perfect. Thank you. That's how I ended up in this situation again in front of the King Gazel Dwargo in the courtroom with Kaijin and the brothers with me just exiled from this country, but I have prepared a bit of a shocker for them already. Grin. The space was silent, a far cry from the loud arguing of a moment ago. After the 5 accused had all but fled from the court, nobody in attendance dared move an inch. Vester nervously swallowed. The persistent silence of the king put both him and everyone else on edge. Then Gazel shattered the stillness. Now, Vester, do you have anything you wish to say? 1,000 pardons, my liege, but this is all a misunderstanding. It simply must be a mistake. A misunderstanding? If it is, then it has cost me one of my most faithful servants. How can you say such a thing, my liege? You call what he offered to you faithfulness. Why, he is simply a man off the street. Vester. I see you are mistaken. Kaijin left my corps on his own volition. When I speak of a faithful servant I have lost, I refer to you. Let me ask you once again, Vester. Do you have anything you wish to say? Fear, pure fear, dominated Vester's head. The king had asked him a question. He needed to reply. But all his speech had abandoned him. My liege, I am afraid. I had great expectations for you, Vester. I have been waiting for so long. Even during the magic armor affair, I waited for you to finally speak the truth. And now I find that, yet again. The expression Gazel showed Vester could almost be described as one of kindness. Look at these. The king pointed out 2 items one of his attendants had produced. Vester, eyes hollow, looked at them. One was a sphere filled with a liquid that he had never seen before, the other was a single longsword. Do you know what these are? The liquid remained a mystery to Vester, but the longsword he remembered. Kaijin had brought it in. You may explain to him. The liquid was a life-regenerating elixir, a near-perfect extract of the juices of the hypocute herbs. A so-called full potion, named for its miraculous recovery properties. Even with the best technology the dwarves had at their fingertips, the purest extract they could produce topped off at 98%. This liquid, meanwhile, was at 99%. The longsword was of quality higher if not similar to that of the king's sword. Their mythical grade sword, and the king's sword is legendary grade. Impossible this could only be made after hundreds if not thousands of years to reach this level is rumored. And thanks to your behavior, we have lost our connection to such a creature. Do you have anything you wish to say? Now Vester realized the full extent of his king's rage. There was truly nothing he could say. I do not, my liege. He knew it all too well now. His lord had abandoned him. All he wanted was to serve his king. To win his approval. That was it. When did I go wrong? When I grew jealous of Kaijin, or before? He didn't know. All he knew was that he had betrayed the king's trust. I see. In that case, Vester, I hereby forbid you from entering the palace. Do not let me see you before me again. I shall leave you with this. I am tired of you. Hearing his words, Vester stood up and bowed deeply to his lord. Then he left, setting off to pay his penance for his foolishness. The king watched them out of the corner of his eye. My dark agent, he shouted with some urgency. Track the movements of that slime. Do not let it escape your notice. Ever. The emphatic order of the normally taciturn king gave pause to everyone in the chamber. By my life, my liege, the dark agent said before disappearing. The king thought to himself. Who was that slime? A type of monster, no doubt, one which terrified him to a huge extent. I could not even read his mind with my unique skill. What kind of powers does he even possess to create mythical-grade weapons in such a short amount of time? These were his honest thoughts. His hero's instincts were giving him a feeling he couldn't ignore. Trusting it, he began to take action. He couldn't have imagined that the same slime was watching him right now, grinning ear to ear from his behavior. We arrived in our village 3 days later with 4 passed-out dwarves on the Tempest Wolves' backs. I named the rest of the goblins who have gathered in our village and began the process of moving near the sealed cave which would lay the foundations of the Tempest's capital city of Rimuru. I also made Rigurd a goblin king at this point and assigned the 4 goblin lords. And the current ranks of monsters present in the village in terms of EP. EP does not relate to the fighting capability or actual strength. Tempest Wolves equals a rank, Ranga equals A+ rank. Pushing special A in terms of EP. Hobgoblins equals D+ rank, higher tier of the hobgoblins, aka the fighters, equals C to C+ rank. Rigor equals a rank, Rigurd equals A rank.